Good day, everyone, and welcome to today's session in our Web Development Fundamentals series. This is Lesson 316, titled Building Blocks of a Web Page. Today, we will explore HTML, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Now, you might be asking, why should a politician or policymaker care about something technical like HTML? Here's why. In today's world, governance is digital. When your department publishes announcements, when you launch an education grant, or when your office sets up a public feedback portal, those online communications are built on HTML. You don't have to be a programmer, but understanding the basics of how information is structured on the web empowers you to oversee digital projects, ensure accessibility, and promote transparency. Let's begin. Part 1. What is HTML and why should you care? HTML is not a programming language. Instead, it is a markup language. That means it gives structure and meaning to text on the internet. HTML tells a web browser how to organize and display text, images, and links on a web page. Think of it like writing a report. You have headings, paragraphs, and bullet points. HTML simply tells the computer how to arrange those parts. So why does this matter for governance? Imagine the city of Cape Town wants to inform the public about new clean water stations during a drought. If the announcement is not structured correctly using HTML, then search engines might not find it, and people with visual impairments may not be able to hear it properly through screen readers. HTML is the foundation of digital communication. Understanding it helps you ensure that your citizens, especially the vulnerable, can access the services and information they need. Part 2. The basic structure of a web page. Let's go over the basic layout of a web page built with HTML. First, there is a declaration at the very top that tells the browser this is an HTML document. Next, the document is divided into two main sections. The first section is called the head. This is where we include background information, like the title of the page, and instructions on how the page should appear. The second section is called the body. This is where all the visible content goes, such as titles, paragraphs, links, images, and more. For example, if you were making a page titled Cape Town Youth Internship Program, you would include the title in the head section, and then in the body section, you might have a large heading that says Apply Now, followed by a few sentences explaining who qualifies and how to apply. HTML simply tells the computer, this is a heading, or this is a paragraph, and so on. Part 3. Key elements of HTML. Now let's talk about the most commonly used elements of HTML that are important for your work as a policymaker. First, we have headings. These are used to separate content into sections, just like newspaper headlines. The largest heading is called Heading 1. Smaller ones are called Heading 2, Heading 3, and so on. This helps readers and computers understand the structure of the page. Second, we have paragraphs. These are the basic building blocks of text content. Third, we have links. These allow users to click on a phrase, like click here to apply, which will take them to another page. Fourth, we have lists. Lists can be numbered, such as a step-by-step process, or bullet-pointed, such as a list of eligibility criteria. Fifth, we have images. These can be inserted to show photos, charts, or banners. Sixth, we have tables. These are useful for displaying structured data like budgets, statistics, or schedules. Finally, there are forms. Forms allow users to input information, for example, applying for a grant or providing feedback online. Knowing these elements allows you to review government websites more critically. When contractors or internal teams show you drafts, you can ask informed questions like, why is there no heading here? Or, can this paragraph be broken into a bulleted list? Part 4. Real-life application, budget page. Let's take a real-world example. Imagine you're reviewing the online budget summary for the city of Cape Town. All the data is displayed in a single block of unformatted text. There are no headings, no clear sections, and no links. As a result, citizens cannot find what they're looking for. Transparency suffers. Now imagine that same information is structured using headings and links. The page begins with a heading that says City of Cape Town Budget 2025. Below that, another heading says Public Safety. Underneath it, a sentence explains the allocated budget, and then a link says click here for a detailed breakdown. Next, there's a section for housing and infrastructure with a similar layout. This is what HTML does: it turns clutter into clarity and makes public information understandable and accessible. Part 5: Accessibility and Equity. One of the most important reasons for using HTML properly is accessibility. Not all of your constituents use the internet the same way. Some are visually impaired and rely on screen readers. Others are elderly and need larger text. Many access the web on small mobile devices with limited data. When HTML is structured correctly, it allows screen readers to read headings out loud, skip to relevant sections, and describe images with alternative text. There are also global standards, like the Web Content Accessibility Guidelines, or WCAG, which many countries, including South Africa, are adopting. These guidelines ensure that government websites are usable by everyone, regardless of ability. As policymakers, you have the power and the responsibility to make sure your departments and agencies follow these standards. Part 6: Mini Demonstration, Public Notice. Let me walk you through what a public announcement might look like when structured properly. Imagine this: you are announcing a new youth internship program in Cape Town. The webpage begins with a large heading that says, "Apply now for the 2025 Cape Town Youth Internship Grant." Next comes a paragraph explaining the purpose of the program. The City of Cape Town is offering 1-year paid internships to unemployed residents aged 18 to 35. Then you see a heading labeled Eligibility, followed by a bulleted list. You must be a resident of Cape Town. You must be between 18 and 35 years old. You must not be employed or currently in school. After that, a new heading says How to apply, followed by the sentence, "Applications are open until August 15th. Click here to apply online." Now imagine this being read aloud by a screen reader. It would clearly communicate the purpose, eligibility, and call to action, thanks to proper structure. Even if you didn't build the page yourself, you'd immediately recognize that this is a well-structured, inclusive, and effective digital announcement. Part 7: Policy Oversight and Real-World Impact. So let's talk about your role in all of this. As a policymaker, you are responsible for oversight. That includes not just physical infrastructure, but digital infrastructure too. If your office is funding a website for a new social program or a mobile app for emergency updates, you should understand how that content is being structured. When reviewing